it's a long line. They want me to fall, it's a long line. I remember praying for a strong sign. My flesh weak, but he gave me a strong mind. No weapon formed against me when it's crunch time. But I stay with that cannon like a drum line. Keep the faith and laws like they combine. Running for the Lord like the combine. In up in again, I'm in a fun time.
It's Mega Man. No better than my daddy. It's the shot on your neck. Oh yeah, you heard.
See, I run the race. While I see him tripping, he gon' burn down the place. And I see heat is cooking. I'm glad I found his grace, but I still see him looking. I cast down my mistakes, and now I see the difference. I feel his presence on me, so I don't need no feelings. He who I reverence only, so I don't need your dealings. See, I aim for the top. See, I don't need no ceilings. You can't pay for your entrance, so I don't need your millions. I've been in this truth for a long time. They want me to fall, it's a long line. It's crazy you be people of your own kind. But Father, I forgive them, may they all shine. No hatred for my brother and my bloodline. I'm from a line of kings, that's the Lord line. My faith like a mountain, that's a hard climb. Until I see them chariots, I'm gon' grind. I've been in this truth for a long time. They want me to fall, it's a long line. Westside Vulture Island, that's the city that I live. I've offended many, but it's still hard to forgive. Them broke so many hearts, it's only chrome hearts in the crib. And they hate me forever, I can't blame her on my kids. That's my baby, but it stay the way it is. Cause I can't get on my own way, it's been that way for years. And Nikki, that's the wifey, why I bring that girl to tears. She leave and take my beanie, that's the only thing I fears. Why? She can look me in the eyes. Am I a beast in disguise? Am I believing my lies? I know my Bible, my God, but I'm feeling tonight. Am I reading this right? I know my joy in the morning, but speaking in the morning, I'm weeping at night. I'm one shot deep in and I'm through with you. 2 shots deep in and I'm choosing you. And now I'm 3 shots deep and I'm confusing you. Know you wanna leave, but I'm not losing you. 1 shot deep in and I'm through with you. 2 shots deep in and I'm choosing you. And now I'm 3 shots deep and I'm confusing you. Know you wanna leave, but I'm not losing you. Why? I keep fucking up no matter how hard that I try. I know he's coming back like he's a thief that's in the night. I pray that I maintain this flesh that I'm fighting inside. I've been running.
Shalom, shalom, brothers and sisters. What is going on? What is going on? Welcome to another edition of the Lines of Israel's Sabbath class. It's your brother, Priest Danyaahla, representing Lines of Israel and Maccabeestv. And of course, I'm joined as always by the good Elder Zahab. I want to say all praise, honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, for bringing us together for another week where we can go over the scriptures. We're in our right minds. I pray that everybody is healthy, everybody's doing well. And we do appreciate you, brothers and sisters, coming every Saturday and fellowshipping with us for a few hours. We definitely appreciate it, and we don't take it lightly. I want to shout out everybody that's watching us on our YouTube platforms, Maccabeestv, D-Lines of Israel class, as well as Priest Danyaahla Uncut. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channels if you have not already. Make sure that you guys actually hit the notification bell so you can be notified when we go live. We do have live classes Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as well. So you brothers and sisters are free to come and fellowship with us as often as you can. All praise to the Most High for that. And of course, shout out to my Clubhouse family. I see you guys over there. Let me go ahead and mod up my good brother Sergeant Zakaria in the building on Clubhouse. Shout out to him. Make sure you guys on Clubhouse, the link is at the top of the room if you guys want to come over and look at PowerPoint. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe today's class is about a 7. You can listen to it on Clubhouse if that's what you prefer to do. But of course, I'm presenting in PowerPoint, and I will be showing a couple of books and some videos. So if you guys want to see that, then you're welcome to come over to YouTube. The link is at the top of the room. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and pass the floor over to Elder Zahab if he wants to say any opening remarks. The floor is his.
Yeah, Shalom, family. Shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High. In the name of His only begotten Son, Mashiach Yahushai. Is my volume okay? Can I be heard, priest?
Volume is good. Volume is good.
All praises, all praises. Yeah, so just want to thank the Most High for giving us life, for us to gather here again on more Shabbat, right? And hopefully everybody had a blessed week. If not, shake that off. Today's a day of rest, rejuvenate in the spirit, and, get ready to move on, Most important thing is I want to thank everybody who's been following us and supporting us and donating and things of that nature. We really appreciate it because it gives us the strength to move on and to put this word out, Also, don't forget about the academy. I'm pretty sure the priest will touch on that at the end of the class, but the academy is on, it's popping right now. It's in the second week. So if you are, just stay tuned and get in the zone, man. Now is not the time for foolishness. Now is not the time to be straying and dilly-dallying and, you know what I mean? Getting distracted. So if you can, focus up. If you ain't got nothing better to do, join the academy, all right? Stay focused. With that, I'll land.
All praise to the Most High. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get into today's class. And then at the end of the class, as the elder said, I'll make any necessary announcements, all right? So let's go and let's get into today's class. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly. So I may have to take that down because it will be in the way of the PowerPoint, and I'll put it back up at the end. Yeah. All right, brothers and sisters. So today's class is called Psalms 137 Revisited. 2 rivers, 1 spirit. So the image that I generated, as you guys could see, this is an image of the Israelites when they were in Babylon. And as we go through the presentation, you guys are going to see that when the Israelites were in Babylon, one of the things that we would do is that we would go down by the rivers and the canals that were, you had rivers and canals that were offshoots of the Euphrates River. And so we would go down to these rivers and these canals, and it was a famous place of meeting up for prayer, asking the Most High to deliver us, so forth and so on, which is what is being alluded to in the book of Psalms 137. It's King David speaking in the spirit about what would eventually happen to our people and what would happen prophetically to our people when the Babylonians would come and take us captive into Babylon. And we would go down and we would pray by the rivers. For those that know anything about American history, especially those that are familiar with history of the South, there was some places in the South, especially in states like Louisiana and Mississippi, there are places called hush harbors. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Some of you guys may know if you're from the South, or if you're just a history buff, you would notice. If not, then you learn it today. There were places in the South called hush harbors. Now, you know, a harbor is where water is. So hush harbors is places where slaves would go and they would meet up by water, and they would do worship services by the water. Some of them would plan their escapes by the water, so forth and so on. And they would do this thing because by the water, the dogs couldn't smell them, or the bloodhounds couldn't smell them if they were, if they were runaways, so forth and so on. And also the sound of the water would drown out a lot of their conversations, so the slave master couldn't hear. So they would go down by the water and have meetings and plan their escape. And they would go and send prayers just like the Israelites did in Babylon. So it's history repeating itself, whether they realized it or not. So that's why today's class is called Psalms 137, 2 rivers, one spirit. The Israelites in Babylon were doing this by the Euphrates River and other rivers that are canals or offshoots of the Euphrates. And the Israelites in America were doing this by the Mississippi River. Same spirit, because we're the same people. All right? All right. Psalms 137 would be considered to be what's called double prophecy or dual prophecy. It fit perfectly when we were in Babylon, and it fits perfectly today. Let's start off with the book of Psalms, chapter 2, starting from verse number 29. It says, "Men and brethren, let me freely speak unto you of the patriarch David, that he is both dead and buried, and his sepulcher is with us unto this day." Now I'm deviating already. We're already getting off subject, but as the Spirit moves me, I just need to say certain things. In the days of the first century, when the apostles were around, they knew where David's sepulcher is. The sepulcher, of course, is where you're buried, right? So in the first century, there was no question if David existed or not. The reason why there's a question of whether David existed or not today in academia is because throughout history, throughout time, the land of Israel has been invaded over 50 times. The whole idea of the Crusades, you guys have heard of the wars called the Crusades. The Crusades was wars being fought over that land. So there's been so much invasions and so much different nations and nationalities that have ruled that land at one time or another that a lot of the archaeology and so forth and so on have been lost to time, guys. But in the first century, they knew where David was buried. I just wanted to point that out since we're reading this. So let's read again, because that's not today's topic, but it just dawned on me to say that. Men and brethren, let me freely speak unto you of the patriarch David, that he is both dead and buried, and his sepulcher is with us unto this day. Verse 30. Therefore, being a prophet. So a lot of us know that David was king, of course. First and foremost, everybody knows that. Everybody knows that David was a psalmist, so he wrote songs. We know that. But the Bible teaches us that they recognized David in the first century as being a prophet too, because some of the things that are written in the book of Psalms are actually prophetic. Therefore, being a prophet and knowing that God had sworn with an oath to him that of the fruit of his loins, according to the flesh, he would raise up Christ to sit on his throne. So the portion that I want us to take away is David was indeed a prophet. Sometimes that part of his personality, that part of his work goes unrecognized because we more recognize him as being a king. There's more recognition being put on him being a psalmist. But indeed, David was a prophet as well. And this is from a book that I have called The Icon. And that is King David. And the book was written by a small hat of all people that says that black people are not the Jews. It was put together by a small hat named Kurt Weitzman. And that's King David in the book that this white boy put together. Right? Now look at the book, the pages that he's holding, right? If that's a book, that might be a box. I don't know exactly what it is he's holding, but just look at the outside of it and then look at his hand that's holding it. Look at the scroll that he's holding and look at his hand that's holding it. Look at his face and then look at the crown. These icons, not this particular one, but some of these icons are like 2,000 years old, some of them. So when people say to us that you black Israelites just make things up, no, we just find what you devils have been hiding. That's all. Don't argue with me. Argue with Kurt Weitzman. He put the book together, not me. Anyway, that's not today's lesson. Let's continue. This is 2 Samuel chapter 23, starting from verse number 1. It says, "Now these be the last words of David. David, the son of Jesse, said, and the man who was raised up on high, the anointed of God, of the God of Jacob, and the sweet psalmist of Israel said, the Spirit of the Lord spake by me, and his word was in my tongue." So the things that David spoke about, specifically what we're going to talk about today, Psalms 137, David was moved in the spirit to say these things because these things didn't happen during his time. Verse 2 again, "The Spirit of the Lord spake by me, and his words was in my tongue. The God of Israel said, the Rock of Israel spake to me. He that ruleth over men must be just, ruling in the fear of God." So God moved David to write these things, just as the scriptures tell us in the New Testament that the Lord moved all the prophets to write what they wrote. So this is an icon of King David, right? This is David being crowned. And everybody in this image is brown. King David prophesied about the Babylonian captivity before it happened. And he told you some of the locations Israel would be during the captivity. And that the Edomites would side with the Babylonians and encourage them to destroy us utterly. David being crowned from the Bristol Psalter. So this is the Bristol Psalter, right? This is the Bristol Psalter. The Bristol Psalter currently is housed in the British Museum. It was purchased by the British Museum in 1923. It was put together in the 16th century, so that's the 1500s. That's way before there was any such thing as a black Israelite, as they like to call us. When you look at the Bristol Psalter, which Psalter is songs, right? So it's like Psalms. When you look at the Bristol Psalter, these are the images that are in there. This is one of the Israelites waiting for manna to come from heaven with Moses in the wilderness. And that's a black man. This is the Chaldeans right here. This is the Chaldeans, the Babylonians. And these are the Israelites. And everybody in the image got an afro and is black. This is King David right here. Black with an afro. And this is Goliath. So this is these icons have been around specifically for hundreds of years. So I just want you guys to see that these things exist, because sometimes, you know, like I say, repetition is good. I got to put these things back in your memory every now and then, because the Christians are loud and strong in saying that we make stuff up. Like we're just trying to make everybody black. We don't want to be who we are, which is just African. No.
Hey, if I can, priest, also, if you look at the Babylonians, right, they're also the same color the Israelites, right? Similar color. So is it really about being black? We deal with lineage, but to them on the outside looking at, oh, you're trying to make everybody black. But if that's the case, so what about the Babylonians? What about these other nations around Israel? They black too. So is it a conspiracy? You know, just putting that out there.
They just do that because, you know, we've been taught in this country that black people never been nothing. We don't have any history. We don't have any history. We haven't done anything. Meanwhile, some of the greatest creations in this country were created by foundational Black Americans. But still, white people believe that nothing was created by, us. Was it Lyndon Johnson? I don't remember who it was that said it. It might be Lyndon Johnson. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. That said, all you have to do is make the lowest white man feel like he's superior to the Black man, and he'll be happy. I'm kind of butchering that, but that's pretty much what they say. So just teach Black people you was never nothing. What you say, Zahn?
Nah, I think it was Lyndon Johnson. And to add to what you're saying, that's where that old ideology of Alisa Aina ...
Yeah.
That's where them low, degenerate, dirty, Appalachian, no teeth, meth, disgusting Edomites. In their mind, they feel they better than you, brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And they got a phrase, at least I ain't a, N-word.
Right.
Even though they're living in trailer parks, eating dog food, smoking meth a mile a minute, just disgusting degenerates, but they feel they better than us. It's crazy.
So sometimes these things just have to be put back into your minds because, like Zahab said, we deal with lineage. I mean, we teach that we're not Hamites, right? So obviously this has nothing really to do with color, but sometimes we have to show these things, man, to, boost you, brothers and sisters, your faith, so forth and so on, just to show you these things because the Christians will just say anything, man. They just say anything. Let's move on though. Vocabulary matters. So when dealing with something like the 137 Psalms, I wanted to show you guys some things. A lot of times people that really don't understand the way the Bible works, and I'm talking about academics. You said academics don't understand the way the Bible works? No, they don't. Because there's a certain spirit that has to be working with you for you to understand the Bible, both literally and figuratively as well, right? The academics, they understand the literal implication of the Bible. So what they do is they go and they look at the Bible literally, especially the historical parts, and they try to match it to history that has already happened, right? And what winds up happening when academics do that, there are certain portions of prophecies, like of Jeremiah, like of Daniel and others. There are certain portions of their prophecy that was not fulfilled in their lifetime or really even yet at all. And so you have this portion of academia that says that the Bible is filled with false prophecies because they put a literal application. When the Bible speaks about Babylon, they put a literal application that it always is talking about the Neo-Babylonian Empire and Nebuchadnezzar. When the Bible clearly symbolically has a future Babylon. In the book of Psalms, it speaks about it. In the book of Micah, it speaks about the daughter of Babylon. And in Revelation, it speaks about Babylon the Great, clearly indicating that all prophecies when Isaiah spoke about Babylon was not talking about Neo-Babylon. Some of those prophecies applied to future Babylon. When Jeremiah spoke about prophecies against Babylon, not all those prophecies applied to back then. Some of them are for the future. They have what is called a dual fulfillment. Certain portions will be fulfilled in that time, and certain portions were reserved for future Babylon. So dual fulfillment is one prophecy, but two separate completions in the Bible. An example of that would be the abomination of desolation that's spoken about in 1 Maccabees chapter 1, but then Christ speaks about it later as well. You have typology. The first event is a preview. Sodom and Gomorrah is a preview of what would happen to future Babylon. Does not the last chapter of Isaiah 13 say, and Babylon shall be as when the Lord overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah? Sodom and Gomorrah is the type. Babylon is actually going to be the blueprint. The second one is going to be the blueprint. But if you know history, you're going to know that Neo-Babylon never burned to the ground. It never did. But this Babylon we live in today is going to burn to the ground like Sodom and Gomorrah. That's typology.
Khan, were you sharing, priest? Are you sharing a slide? Because it's back
Am
on
I?
the... No, it's not. That's why I'm asking. If you have a slide, you was trying to illustrate something because it's back on the dual mode right now.
What do you mean it's on the dual mode? Okay, let me stop sharing for a second. Hold on.
I don't know if you were sharing a slide while you was going into Babylon.
You guys should have been able to see the slide. If you guys were able to see the slide, put one in the chat, because you guys should have been able to see that. It looked like I was sharing. Let me just look at the chat and make sure. Hold on 1 second. If you guys were able to see what I was showing, put one in the chat. If not, then I'll go back over it. I know the chat is a little bit behind us.
I think the slide was saying something about vocabulary.
Oh, you weren't? Okay. All right. Let's go. We got it. We got it fixed now. It's all good. All right. So, right. I wasn't, yeah, I got it. All right. You guys should be able to see it now. So, again, you have dual fulfillment. You have typology. So, as I said, Sodom and Gomorrah, we know the Most High burned that place to the ground, right? The Bible tells us, the last verse of Isaiah 13, that Babylon would be overthrown the way Sodom and Gomorrah was with fire and brimstone. Was the Neo-Babylonian Empire burned to the ground? The answer is no. So does that mean the prophecy failed? The answer is no. Because there is a Babylon that's going to burn to the ground, and it's mentioned in the book of Revelation. Y'all get it? So the Bible works and has a lot of nuances to it. You can't just approach it from a stiff academic approach. You have to understand all these nuances, right? So let's continue on. That's enough. So you guys get the idea. So Psalms 137, the preview would take place in Babylon, where we would be by the rivers, crying out to the Most High for deliverance. But the blueprint would be, we would be doing the same thing here in America. Same thing. Literally the same thing. All right, let's move on. Is Psalms 137 speaking about ancient Babylon or modern Babylon or both? This is Job 11, 5-7. It says, but oh, that God would speak and open his lips against thee, and that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom. So this is a secret to some, that they are double. Wisdom is double. Certain things that apply to our great-grandparents can be applicable to us today. There's a couple of videos I was watching on TikTok that was showing the condition of the black man and black woman, speaking specifically about foundational black Americans, the men and the women, and the divide amongst us in the 70s, the gender divide in the 70s. And I was looking at that, and I felt like I was looking at social media today, because the same arguments that men and women were having against each other, the same arguments we're having today. It's the same thing. Same thing. And verse 6, and that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is. Know therefore that God exacteth of thee less than thine iniquity deserveth. So right, the Most High really takes from us less, like what we're going through, although these captivities that we've gone through and the condition that we're in, although it's bad, because see the condition of our people are destroyed. Guess what? Israel is still around. What we as a nation deserved based on our behavior, we deserve for the Most High to wipe us out and make a whole another nation out of Moses, like he said. That's what we deserved. But the Most High didn't exact that. The Most High punished us, still punishes us, but we're not getting what we deserve. Hell, the Most High gave us his son, right? Anyway, let's move on. So both answers are correct. Psalms 137 would indeed be talking about Neo-Babylon, and it's talking about Babylon the Great, which is America. This is the book of Psalms 137, verse 1. It says, by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down, yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. So the Israelites were taken captive into Babylon. And just like the book of Judges, the entire book of Judges, we as a people didn't start weeping and mourning until we got our behinds kicked. It's almost like, for those of y'all that are parents, right? You could be telling your children over and over, hey, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And they ignore you like they didn't hear you. Then as soon as the punishment is exacted, now they got the daggone puppy dog eyes looking at you like, why are you punishing me for? Because I told you. That's us. We waited until we got into Babylon. Then when we got into Babylon, now we're down by the rivers and we're mourning. When that never had to happen because the prophets warned us that the Most High was going to send Nebuchadnezzar. They warned us and we didn't listen. The same pattern that you see in the book of Judges. The Israelites were wicked. The Most High put a nation over them. That nation over them oppressed them. They cried to the Most High. The Most High sent the judge to deliver them. Wash, rinse, repeat. And after the period of Judges is over, the Most High gave us a king, Saul. Saul wasn't the best king we ever had. The Most High gave us a righteous king, David. Most High gave us another righteous king, Solomon, until he got old and allowed his lust to get the better of him. And allowed his wives to set up gods, temples to their gods or statues, whatever. And we've been following that same blueprint ever since. And it's not until we get into captivity that we're like, you know what? Yeah, we messed up. So by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. Yea, we wept when we remembered Zion. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 1. It says, now it came to pass in the 13th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, as I was among the captives by the river Chebar. So now it's being real specific where in Babylon we did this. By the river Chebar, that the heavens were open and I saw visions of God. So what I'm showing you guys is that the Israelites would go down to these rivers. They would go down there for prayer, meditation, so forth and so on, a crowd to the Most High. And Ezekiel did the same thing. So if you guys look at the map, the river Chebar is one right here. So you guys can see this is the Euphrates River right here, right? This is the Euphrates River right here. Right along here is where the Israelites were settled in Babylon. And the Israelites would come down from these settlements down to the river Chebar to pray. That's what we would do. Okay? Everybody following along so far? Okay. So here you have the timeline of our people's fall. So this is what you're looking at here is happening right around here. You guys see Ezekiel right there? Right around here, right around 600 BC. Okay, let's move on. This is the book of Ezra, chapter 8 and verse 15. It says, and I gathered them together to the river that runneth to Ahava. So here's another river that the Israelites, this is a completely different prophet, completely different people in captivity. And when the time comes, they go down to the river to pray to the Most High. So you have what's called the Ahava Canal, right? And that is an offshoot of the Euphrates River. So this is, I'm showing you guys a pattern. This is what we did. And I gathered them together to the river that runneth to Ahava. And there abode we in tents 3 days. And I viewed the people and the priests and found there none of the sons of Levi. Let's move on. Now, what are the Al Yehudu tablets and why is that important? Well, let's read what they are first and then I'll tell you guys why this is important. The Al Yehudu tablets are a collection of about 200 clay tablets from the 6th and 5th centuries BCE on the exiled Judean community in Babylon. Translation, we the Israelites that were in Babylon, that were taken captives in Babylon, we created tablets. And these tablets were written in, as you guys can see the display right there, they were written in stone. This is very important. A lot of our history as Israelites was written on parchment and papyrus, which is paper. So over time, papyrus and parchment ages really poorly, so you lose that. And then a lot of our records were burned as well. That's why a lot of things the Egyptians have, they have it in stone. It preserves better. So this is a beautiful find. When people say the Bible is not real and there's no archaeology to support the Bible, no, they just don't know what they're talking about. Because the Al Yehudu tablets exist, and what it shows us is that the writers of the Bible are correct. concerning what it says about the Israelites being taken captive in Babylon, because these tablets were found in Babylon in a city called Al-Yehudu. And the word Al-Yehudu means city or town of Judah. That's what it means. So again, the Al-Yehudu tablets are a collection of about 200 clay tablets from the 6th and 5th centuries BCE on the exiled Judean community in Babylonia following the destruction of the first temple. They contain information on the physical condition of the exiles from Judah and their financial condition in Babylon. The tablets are named after the central settlement mentioned in documents, Al-Yehudu, or the town of Judah. So there was a town of Judah in Babylon, and that's where we lived. And we've recorded a lot of our history on these tablets. All right? Let's go to the next one. So as you guys can see from this map, for those of y'all that are following the PowerPoint, Yehudu is right by a river. So these tablets preserved the idea that the Jews would actually go down to the rivers, and that's where they would pray, so forth and so on. But that's what the Bible says. So what I'm doing, if you guys are really following along what I'm showing you that even contemporary history outside the Bible and archaeology backs up what it is we're saying. This is what the Israelites did. And Yehudu, as you guys can see, is very close to a river. What river? The Chebar River. Where was Ezekiel when the heavens opened? He was at the Chebar River. You guys see that? Okay. So this is a book called Judeans in Babylonia, a study of deportees in the 6th and 5th centuries BCE. We're just going to read the highlighted portion. It says, the book of Ezekiel is situated in the context of the Babylonian exile. And the prophet is depicted as a Judean exile living in 6th century Babylonia. The authors of the book certainly had information about the Mesopotamian culture and Babylonian geography, including the Kabaru Canal. The Kabaru Canal is also the Chebar River, as the King, it's just a different spelling, which is also referred to in a text from the environs of Yehudu. So what this is saying to you is that the Bible mentions that the Israelites were in Chebar in Ezekiel chapter 1. Ezekiel said that's where he was. And the tablets kind of confirm that the Jews were there as well. So it's the history and the cultures are synchronized and they're lining up, right? It may well be that the references to the elders of Judah in Ezekiel 8:1 and Israel in 14:1, as well as the Judean settlement in Tel Aviv, reflect historical reality. So this is real history. It's not fake. But the focal points of the books are Ezekiel's prophetic visions and oracles. Apart from mentioning the river Chebar, Tel Aviv, and the elders of Judah and Israel, the book of Ezekiel contains hardly any information about Judean exiles in Babylonia. So the book of Ezekiel kind of sticks to the prophecy. That's what it sticks to, because that's what the purpose of it is. But the Al-Yehudu tablets have a lot of other information of what was going on in the lives of the Israelites in Babylon. Like I said, their physical condition, Ezekiel doesn't really talk about that like that, as well as their financial condition in that captivity. It has all that as well, right? The tradition continues into the New Testament. This is Acts chapter 16. I'm going to start from verse number 12. And from thence to Philippi, which is the chief city of that part of Macedonia and a colony. And we were in that city abiding certain days. Look at this, verse 13. And on the Sabbath, we went out of the city, where? By a riverside, where prayer was wont to be made. So what are we learning so far, brothers and sisters? When the Israelites were in captivity, one of the places that they would resort to pray and ask the Most High for blessings, deliverance, etc., they would always go down to rivers and do that. Verse 13. And on the Sabbath, we went out of the city by a riverside where prayers was wont to be made. And we sat down and spake unto the women which resorted thither. Verse 14. And a certain woman named Lydia, a seller of purple of the city of Thyatira, which worshiped God, heard us, whose heart the Lord opened, that she attended unto the things which were spoken of by Paul. Okay, so we're seeing a pattern here now, right? Okay, let's continue. So again, I want you to keep in mind that the same tradition of praying by rivers that we saw initially in Babylon, we see it even happening in the New Testament when the Israelites were scattered throughout the Mediterranean. They would go down by the river and make prayers there as well. So these things happen over and over again. These things have a dual fulfillment. Some of these things are what you call typologies or foreshortening, if you guys get what I'm saying. All right. Brothers and sisters, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but many, definitely can't say all, many slave plantations were along the river. You guys think that that's just coincidental? Many slave plantations were along the river. This is history repeating itself again. God is a master planner, man. Psalms 137, verse 1, by the rivers of Babylon. Now, this is a whole different Babylon we're in. And we're in captivity. We're captives all over again. And the places where we're captives is in proximity to rivers. And it needed to be this way. And I'm going to explain to you guys why it is this way. This is a book called the Cairns River Creole National Historical Park, Magnolia Plantation Cultural Landscape. Chapter 1, page 13. It says the location of Magnolia Plantation near Cloterville, some 18 miles south of, I can't pronounce that city, Louisiana, on the banks of the lower Cane River. That's a little blurry. I don't know why it's so blurry, because it's even blurry on my end. I ain't gonna hold you. Maybe if I slightly thin it up a little bit, that might be better. Maybe not. But let's see. So this plantation is located on the banks of the Cane River. That's what I was telling you guys earlier. So what happened was you would have a lot of these slaves that would go down by the waters and what they call hush harbors, out of the sight and ears of the slave masters. And they would meet down there and they would pray and they would plot their escape, so forth and so on. It's history repeating itself all over again. Somebody tells me that we need to take a DNA test to prove we're the Israelites. No, the prophecies. The Bible tells us in Deuteronomy 28, these curses shall be upon you for what? For a sign. This is a sign, if you're spiritual, to clearly see that these things keep repeating itself over and over in our history. So it says, it was located on the banks of the lower Cane River. Today appears secluded, even isolated, despite the fact that a 20th century interstate highway runs nearby. What's recommended this land to the earliest of European settlers in the region and the Native Americans who had first inhabited it was its abundant natural resources and access to the river. Everybody following along? Let's move on. Next book, Slave Religion, the Invisible Institution in the Antebellum South. We're on page 212. At first glance, it seems strange to refer to the religion of the slaves as an invisible institution. For independent black churches with slave members did exist in the South before emancipation. In racially mixed churches, it was not uncommon for slaves to outnumber masters in attendance at Sunday services, but the religious experience of slaves was by no means fully contained in the visible structures of the institutional church. From the abundant testimony of fugitive and freed slaves, it is clear that the slave community had an extensive religious life of its own, hidden from the eyes of the master in the secrecy of the quarters or the seclusion of the brush arbors or hush harbors. The slaves made Christianity truly their own religion. So they would go down, like I said, by the waters and stuff and do that stuff, and they would do it and believe in things that they couldn't say in front of the master. Not everybody was indoctrinated. Many of the slaves were, but not everybody was indoctrinated.
Salaki, you know what's so funny? Hold on, I got an echo. Salaki, 1 second. Yeah, you know what's so funny? There's a reason why people gravitate towards Christianity, right? Because it has vestiges or residues of the truth, right? So that's why we gravitate to it, because when we gathered together, we was all singing songs about Israel and King David and how the Lord is good to us, so on and so forth. We never sang no songs or made oral history of no goddamn African kings. No, this, that. You know what I'm saying? It's always dealing with the Bible and dealing, because deep down in our spirit, we knew we couldn't really prove it, so to speak, especially when we was forced, and since we were born on plantations, we didn't know how to read, but the spirit was still in us. So I feel that's why we kind of gravitate towards Christianity, because it has a slither of truth to it, because they reading out of the Bible and about our kinfolk and our heritage. Even though, pastors, they done diluted it and this, that, the third. But that's so it's topical, because it goes with what you're saying, how we would gather by the river and we would weep and we would pray to the Lord, so on and so forth. That could be shown in the Bible as well as shown right now during slavery, even probably to this day. So that's powerful. I just wanted to bring that out real quick.
Kind of well, praises. All right, so now let's move on to the next book. It's called The Underground Railroad, a record of facts, authentic narratives, letters, etc. That's a long behind title. I ain't gonna hold you. By William Still. We're on page number 132. It says the original names of these adventurers were Joseph Grant and John Speaks between 2 and 3 years before escaping. So these are escaped slaves. So you guys can get the context, because I didn't read the whole page. So it says the original names of these adventurers were Joseph Grant and John Speaks. Between 2 and 3 years before escaping, they were sold from Maryland to John B. Campbell, a Negro trader living in Baltimore, and thence to Campbell's brother, another trader in New Orleans, and subsequently to Daniel McBeans and Mr. Henry of Harrison County, Mississippi. So these guys were getting passed around from one slave master to the other. So they couldn't even get comfortable. I can understand why they escaped. They couldn't get comfortable. Every time they turn around, they're getting sold to somebody else. Crazy. Imagine that. Though both had to pass through nearly the same trial and belong to the same masters, this recital must be confined chiefly to the incidents in the career of Joseph. He was about 27 years of age, well-made, quite black, intelligent, and self-possessed in his manner. He was owned in Maryland by Miss Mary Gibson, who resided at St. Michael's on the Eastern Shore. She was a nice woman, he said, but her property was under mortgage and had to be sold, and he was in danger of sharing the same fate. Joseph was a married man and spoke tenderly of his wife. She promised him when he was sold that she would never marry, and earnestly entreated him if he ever met with the luck to come and see her. She was unaware, perhaps, at the time of the great distance that was to divide him. So his wife that he was married to was on another plantation. He was sold and sold away from her, right? His feelings of being thus sundered needed not to be stated. However, he had scarcely been in Mississippi 3 weeks ere his desire to return to his wife and the place of his nativity constrained him to attempt to return. Let's go to the next page. Accordingly, he set off, crossing a lake 80 miles wide in a small boat. So the reason why I'm reading all this, I'm trying to show you guys these plantations were, like I said, a lot of them were built close to rivers, and a lot of the blacks would go down to the rivers as slaves, and they knew how to navigate the waters. They knew that. They knew how to do that. So they were down there worshiping, and they were also plotting. Crossing a lake 80 miles wide in a small boat, he reached Coot Island. There he was captured by the watchman on the island, so he got caught, who with pistols and a cutlass in hand threatened if he resisted that death would be his instant doom. Of course, he was returned to his master. He remained there a few months, so he was returned to his master. Believe it or not, the master didn't do him no harm for escaping. So he remained there a few months, but could content himself no longer to endure the ills of his condition. So he again started for home, walked to Mobile, and there he succeeded in stowing himself away in a steamboat and was thus conveyed to Montgomery. So he went back to the river and got up on a steamboat. And that's another thing, if I could just say real quick. One of the reasons why and it's going to come up later in the PowerPoint, one of the reasons why the plantations were close to water is because the plantations were not for the family. What was being grown to be sold. So you have to be close to water to be able to ship your stuff to other states, whatever you're growing, if you guys get what I'm saying. So you had to be close to rivers. You couldn't be all the way inland. That would make no sense. All right. Where am I? A distance of 550 miles through solid slave territory. Again, he was captured and returned to his owners, one of whom always went for immediate punishment, the other being mild, though persuasion the better way to plan in such cases. So basically what you guys see is you have a slave here, and there's other books I could have put in. You had a slave here that was close to water, and he also knew how to navigate boats. He knew how to, they would bribe boat captains, people that worked on boats. They would bribe them to allow them to come on and be stowaways, so forth and so on. All this stuff is happening around rivers. Just wanted to show you that. All right, let's move on. So Psalms 137, verse 1, by the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down. What does it mean that we sat down? Let's look at Lamentations chapter 3, picking it up from verse 25. It says, the Lord is good unto them that wait for him, and to the soul that seeketh him. So that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to wait for the Most High and seek the Most High. That's what we're supposed to do. Now, that doesn't sound good to the majority of our people. The majority of our people feel as though we should just go out there and take up arms and try to take Esau down. That's not the way it works. The Most High said Esau does not bear his sword in vain. They have a certain dispensation where they're supposed to rule, and we have to wait on the Most High. But in the meantime, while we're waiting, we're not idle. We're not doing nothing. We're supposed to be teaching our people. Pursuant to Daniel chapter 2, verse 42, in the days of those kings, the Most High will raise up another kingdom. So our kingdom is literally being raised up, even though we're in captivity. So we're not sitting doing nothing. But although the princes and chief men are being roused up and woken up, we still have to wait on the Lord to give us that power and that authority and to take our enemies down. Verse 25 again, it says, the Lord is good unto them that wait for him, and to the soul that seek the Most High. How do you seek the Most High? You seek him through his word. And then once you seek the Most High through his word, you apply that to your life. Verse 26. It is good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord. Yes, we have to wait for it. What other choice do we have? I sometimes wonder, do brothers and sisters really understand how deep into this AI technology that Esau is? Many of you guys have seen videos I've done on the classes I've done on it, but if you're new here and you're not, just go to TikTok or YouTube and just type in social credit scores in China, AI in China, whatever, and just go down the rabbit hole and watch for yourself. That already exists. That's not conspiracy. It already exists. A social credit score means that they can take money out of your accounts for you jaywalking, for you littering, for you saying something that the Chinese government doesn't like. They don't like what you said. They don't like what you eat. You go to the supermarket and you didn't buy enough vegetables. Yeah, I'm making somebody mad right now. If we had a social credit score in America right now, and your credit score could go down if you didn't have more vegetables in your supermarket cart than meat, all of us would fail. All of us would have low social credit scores because Negroes don't like vegetables, man. Let's keep it real.
Or what about they track how much alcohol you buy?
Goodness gracious, most of the men would fail. You'd have a 200 credit score. I guess a high credit score would be 800. Bro, if the way that a lot of Israelite men drink, including me, your social credit score would be like 200. You know what I'm saying? For real, it's a joke, but it's not. We're already really deep into the system, right? So in addition to Esau having the weapons and the power and the military to enforce his will, he also has these things that are set up that's going to be very difficult to get around in a short amount of time. So we have to wait on the Most High, because if the Most High don't come to deliver us, we're cooked, man. Let's be real. We're online having an agenda war while Esau is fighting for power over the world, invading countries and pulling the president out of his house in the middle of the night. Anyway, it is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth. He sitteth alone and keepeth silence, because he hath borne it upon him, right? So you're supposed to, especially as a youth, really, and some of us come into the truth a lot later than in your youth, but in your youth is a good time to really build yourself up in silence and prepare yourself and steel yourself for life, and understand that the things that life is going to throw at you is going to either build you up or it's going to break you down. And these things are essential ways to refine you. And it's the same thing in its truth. When we sit down by the rivers of Babylon, which we are here in America, right? And we contemplate why we're in the condition we're in and why we go through the hell that we're going through, it's supposed to refine us. We're supposed to understand why we're in the condition that we're in, why things are going the way they're going for us individually and as a nation. And pray to the Most High to deliver us, and then wait on that thing. It doesn't mean wait idly doing nothing. It means wait on the Most High as far as trying to rise up against the enemy. But in the meantime, you teach your brother. You teach your sister. You proliferate the word. And even in us just doing that much, we got the world hating us Israelites because of it. Just because we be teaching each other. So what does that tell you? Let's move on. Let's look at Lamentations chapter 1, verses 4 through 7. It says, the ways of Zion do mourn, because none come to the solemn feasts. All her gates are desolate. Her priests sigh, her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness. Her adversaries are the chief. That's these other nations. Her enemies prosper These other nations prosper. They come into our communities and set up businesses and leech the finances from our people. Wouldn't even give you a job. Wouldn't even give your children a job. You come in and you 5 cents short, and the Indian dude is telling you to get out the daggone 99-cent store. He wouldn't even look out for you. I watch videos of our people going into these stores, and these other nations disrespect our people to their face, and we still spend our money with them. And they prosper. And they hate you at the same time. Right? It says, for the Lord hath afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. That's the reason why we as a people are in the condition that we're in. It's a multitude of our transgressions. Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy. That's what happened in Babylon. That's what happened with the Persians. That's what happened with the Greeks. That's what happened with the Romans. That's what happened during the transatlantic slave trade. That's what happened during the sub-Saharan slave trade. That's what happened when the Moors were overthrown in Spain in 1492. A lot of them were shipped into slavery. Some of them were sent over here. Some of them were sent to certain islands off the coast of Africa. That's what happened. Verse 6. And from the daughter of Zion, all her beauty is departed. Her princes are become like harts that find no pasture, and they are gone without strength before the pursuer. Jerusalem remembered in the days of her affliction and of her miseries all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old. Verse 7 is saying the same thing as verse number 1 of Psalms 137. It's sad to say, but our people don't learn their lesson until they're in the midst of the punishment. You know where you find people that think like this today? In prison. You tell the young boys, stay away from gangs, stay away from the streets. But the lure of the streets, and they want to make a name for themselves, and they want to make some fast money. Because you make a name for yourself, you get some status, you get some fast money, you get some flashy car, you get some nice clothes. What comes with that? The women come with that. And so you're not thinking about the consequences. You're not regarding the consequences. So how do you get that fast money? 9 times out of 10, it's doing something illegal. Selling drugs, killing your own people, nowadays scamming, right? You know what's wrong. You know there's consequences, but the rewards to you mean more than the consequences, right? So you go and you take a risk. Then you end up in a prison cell. And now you're lamenting. You know what? I take that back. You're lamenting the day that you're about to be sentenced. How many brothers do I see the day that you're being sentenced up in the daggone courtroom crying? That's us. When her people fell into the hand of the enemy and none did help her, the adversaries saw her and did mock at her Sabbath. That's like Esau and the other nations. They saw what happened to us and they mock us. Let's move on. Verse 2. We hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. Now, I went and I looked up the word for willows. So willows fall into several different genuses, right? You have several different species of the willows. So those willows do indeed grow in Babylon, but also certain species of willows grow here in America as well. That's not accidental. Not accidental. I just wanted you guys to see that. Now, verse 2 says, we hanged our harps upon the willows in the midst thereof. So hanging our harps represents joy ceasing. The Most High gave us many blessings. He gave us our land, so forth and so on, and gave us instructions about how we should conduct ourselves when we're in our land, right? Let's look at Leviticus chapter 23, verse 40. It says, and ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and the willows of the brook, and ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God. So the willow was symbolic of rejoicing. The Most High gave us our land, right? We're celebrating a holy day, right? And we're celebrating and we're using the willow trees as part of our celebration. So isn't it ironic that when we're being punished, now we hang our harps upon the willows, meaning no more celebration? Because when we used to celebrate, brothers and sisters, we celebrated with instruments. We would sing and we would celebrate with instruments, including the harp. But now in captivity, we had to hang it up. Now there's nothing to be joyous about anymore. That's what this is showing you. This is irony. The Most High gave us the willows for one thing, but in the book of Psalms, when it comes to our punishment, it's being used for the exact opposite. The irony is the exact opposite. By the way, for those that didn't know, when you think of a harp, don't think of the harps that you guys see today. That's not the harps that they were talking about. This is how they would actually look. They're called lutes, or lyres, I should say. The lyre is the progenitor to the modern day harp. The harps that you guys see today is something a little bit newer. This is how they kind of looked in ancient times, just so you guys know. And these are the ones that are at the British Museum, by the way. This is Psalms 147, verse 3. It says, for there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. Let's look at Lamentations 1, verse 7. It says, Jerusalem remembered in the days of her affliction and all of her miseries, all of her pleasant things that she had in the days of old, when her people fell into the hand of the enemy and none did help. The adversaries saw her and did mock at her Sabbath. So now they're requiring of us a song, and they want us to sing one of the songs of Zion, but we hanged our harps up. We didn't want to sing anymore because we're in misery now. We're in captivity. This is from the movie Roots. They required of us a song and mirth. They want us to be happy and joyous and dancing and having a good time in captivity. Same spirit back then is the same spirit today. They hate our guts, but they love for us to entertain them. Next one. This is from 12 Years a Slave. Clearly, they don't want to do it. Clearly, they're doing it because Master wants to see them do that, right? That's the thing. Let's go back. I'm sorry, what is there to celebrate? You're in captivity. The same master done sold one of your daggone children. You know what I'm talking about? And they're going to ask you to dance. And you got to do it, because if you don't do it, you might get whipped. You know what I'm saying? Crazy.
Come on, Wednesday Merriman, move your feet.
He's requiring a song, requiring mirth. Move your feet. Be happy.
Sell her.
What's all this?
You will sell the niggers.
Sell little pants?
I ain't going to play all of it so I don't get a copyright strike, because that's all I wanted. I want you guys to see they required of us mirth. That's what they did. Okay.
You know, that's sadistic as hell, man. The same person will whip you and hang you and castrate you, then tell you to sing and be happy. That's some sadistic ish, man.
I don't see how people can't see the dual fulfillment of this prophecy. Like, this literally happened to us. Like, literally, word for word. This happened to our people. Saying, the end of verse 3, saying, sing us one of these songs of Zion. And that's what Zahab was talking about a moment ago. This is from an article called Recounting the Past, a student journal of historical studies at Illinois State University. We are here. I'm sorry, I didn't take a picture of the page number. That's my bad. I usually do. But it says, Southern planters encourage the work song, finding it useful in many different respects and generally preferring it in the field to silence. They forced all them spirituals that you guys be seeing. You watch the movies, you know, it's dramatizations, yes. When you guys see them slaves picking cotton, try not to prick their fingers, because they're, you know, in them cotton plants, there's a lot of spikes. You could prick your finger and cut your finger and all that. They got these guys out there in the hot sun in states like Louisiana and Mississippi, where the weather could be over 100 degrees and you picking cotton, and they want you to sing. And they made you sing. This is what this is talking about. Imagine that. Frederick Douglass comments that encouragement and even forced singing in the fields may account for the almost constant singing heard in southern states. Overseers used work songs to track slaves in the field. One saying noted, make a noise, or bear a hand are usually the words usually addressed to slaves when there is silence among them. So they were not allowed to be quiet. I want you guys to see this. This aligns perfectly with the scriptures if you have spiritual eyes. Yes, it's talking about Babylon before, but it's talking about Babylon here too, because it's the same thing. Let's jump over to the other side right here where it says planters. It says planters hope to use Christianity to inculcate obedience. So they were using Christianity to try to, you know what I'm saying, make us docile. That's why they gave us the slave Bible. To inculcate obedience, piousness, and patience in their slaves. To their dismay, slave communities chose to gravitate towards recognizable lessons in the Bible, such as the Israelites in the land of Egypt, and that's why they gave you the slave Bible. They took that out. Spirituals illustrate how Christianity provided a means for an enfranchisement and attachment to a world within a world that offered little hope for slaves. As white preachers were promoting obedience, slaves were recognizing parallels in the form of the Israelites and slavery. Do you guys see that? When Israel was in Egypt's land, let my people go. Oppressed so hard that they could not stand, let my people go. These are the songs that we were singing. Thus saith the Lord, Bold Moses said, let my people go. If not, I'll smite your firstborn. Let my people go. So these are some of the things that we were saying. This is not what planters had in mind when they set out to Christianize their slaves. The Bible told slaves that their situation was unnatural, and also that struggle to free one from bondage was natural and smiled upon by God. Spirituals reflected these feelings, providing a sense of hope and motivation for struggle. So they wanted us to sing, so we started singing about these things, and that's what you guys see in a lot of the recreations in these movies, right? That's what you guys see. So it lines up perfectly with the scriptures. Let's move on. There they required us a song, and they required of us mirth. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to introduce you to the slave that was forced to sing as his mother was being beaten to death. Y'all heard that? Yeah.
In 1863, while the American Civil War was devastating the South, a melody echoed through the cotton fields of Wilkinson County, Mississippi. The clear voice of a young man cut through the heavy afternoon air, singing songs his mother had taught him. But this music brought no comfort. It masked something much darker happening at the edges of the small Dewey plantation. What began as an investigation into extreme disciplinary methods on 19th century plantations revealed one of the most disturbing stories I've ever heard about revenge and primitive justice. Samuel, who had arrived there as a child, carried in his melody not only beauty, but also a pain that would transform into something terrible. The region was in chaos. Union troops were advancing through Mississippi, and many owners were abandoning their lands, leaving behind not only properties, but also secrets buried in the cotton fields. What Samuel witnessed in those final days of slavery would shape not only his destiny, but also that of an entire family. Today, we're going to dive into this story that connects the brutality of the slave system with a revenge that burned more than just wood and fabric. Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? And if this is your first time on the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this. The Dewey plantation stretched across 250 acres on the banks of the Mississippi River, a medium-sized property that had...
On the banks of the Mississippi River. It's keeping right along with the thread of the class. Plantation on the river. Let's go.
Prospered for decades, cultivating cotton with the labor of 15 enslaved people. Frederick Dewey had inherited the land from his father in 1845. But unlike the patriarch, who maintained rigid but predictable discipline, Frederick developed methods that transcended the common brutality of the era. Samuel arrived at the property in 1857, at 12 years old, along with his mother, Imelda. Sold from a smaller farm in Alabama after the death of their former owner, mother and son brought with them a musical tradition that would become central to the tragedy that would unfold. Imelda possessed extensive knowledge of traditional songs, a heritage she carefully transmitted to her son. Dewey quickly noticed Samuel's vocal talent and developed a disturbing obsession. He ordered the young man to sing during public punishments.
Y'all caught that? He ordered the young man, like when somebody was being punished, they made him sing while the person was being punished. Perfectly aligned with scriptures. And crazy at the same. Esau is sadistic anyway.
Claiming that music elevated the spirit of correction, Samuel was positioned next to the correction theater, a wooden structure in the center of the property where Dewey conducted his disciplinary demonstrations.
Can you think about for a second, as a young man, how much trauma that you must be going through, that you have to watch every time as somebody's being punished, you got to stand there and sing, but you also are watching this. You're watching this person. They might be whipped, all the way up to being killed. And you got to watch it and sing. And if you don't sing, you might be next.
Music elevated the spirit of correction. Samuel was positioned next to the correction theater, a wooden structure in the center of the property where Dewey conducted his disciplinary demonstrations before forced audiences. The punishments followed macabre patterns.
And there were audiences to watch this as well. So everybody was scared. Let's continue. We're going to watch this a little bit more. Let's go.
They began with whippings, but quickly escalated to more elaborate methods. Red-hot irons marked not only backs, but faces and hands. Victims were tied in painful positions for hours under scorching sun, sometimes until they fainted. Dewey had created a system of permanent examples. Mutilated slaves who served as living warnings, working in the fields with deformities that constantly reminded everyone of his authority. During these spectacles, Samuel sang. His melody created a grotesque contrast with screams of agony and pleas for mercy. The songs about hope and divine protection became the soundtrack to unimaginable atrocities. 2 overseers maintained order on the property. Jake Carter, a brutal 40-year-old man experienced on various...
So you guys get the idea. I'm not going to play the whole video because it's just him telling the story. But it aligns with today's lesson, which is why I played the video to begin with. That this is what Esau was doing. So it perfectly aligns with scripture. Let's move on. This is Psalms 137, verse 4. It says, "How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land?" The Lord's song was always meant to be sung in our land, and the chief place that it was sung was in the tabernacle and the temple. This is Psalms 100. It says, "Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all ye lands. Serve the Lord with gladness, and come before his presence with singing." And I always tell you guys, this is the part that the Christians actually have right. The Christians are not wrong for singing when they come before the presence of the Most High. I know a lot of us come out of church, and so we want to disassociate ourselves with it entirely, but it's not entirely wrong. They're not wrong for singing songs when they come into the presence of the Most High. They're actually right for that. And we as Israelites, because we are so far separated from being Christians, which is what we wanted to do, we don't sing to the Most High at all. Where there is a happy medium. It's not about the fact that they sing to the Most High. It's about the fact that what they're singing is wrong. That's the problem. The singing is not bad. It's what they're singing that's wrong. I need for y'all to understand that. And when we get our kingdom back, we're going to sing to the Most High again as well. We're going to sing the right song. This is Psalms 150. "Praise ye the Lord, praise God in his sanctuary. Praise him in the firmament of his power. Praise him for his mighty acts. Praise him according to his excellent greatness. Praise him with the sound of trumpets. Praise him with the psaltery and the harp. Praise him with the timbrel and dance. Praise him with the string instruments and organs. Praise him upon the loud cymbals. Praise him upon the high sounding cymbals. Let everything that have breath praise the Lord. Praise ye the Lord." So when we went before the presence of the Lord, we sang and we used instruments. That's what we did.
And also, priest, that's why truth music, Israelite music, should be in a higher position than where it is right now. Because if you look at the music that's out now, that ain't praising the Most High, you know. And our enemy's always behind it. Because I think a long time ago, even in the 50s and the 60s and stuff, you know, our music was more conscious. And we'll have music praising the Lord and all that. And then they just separated everything. And then, you know, everybody know the history after that. But yeah, giving honor and glory to the Most High, that's very powerful. And that's why I love truth music. You know what I mean? I love brothers who make music giving honor and glory to the Most High, because it's our heritage.
Okay. This is 2 Chronicles 29, starting from verse number 1. It says, "Hezekiah began to reign when he was 25 years old. And he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Abijah, the daughter of Zechariah." Verse 2. "And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that David his father had done." So Hezekiah was looking at what David did, which we just read, Psalms 137, Psalms 100, Psalms 150. So Hezekiah was looking at that stuff like, okay. Verse number 3. "He, in the first year of his reign, in the first month, opened the doors of the house of the Lord and repaired them." Let's jump down to verse number 25. What else did he do? "And he set the Levites in the house of the Lord with cymbals and with psalteries and with harps, according to the commandment of David. He went back and he read the Psalms. He read also in the law, in the histories where David did these things, and he did the same thing, because that's the way you worship the Most High. Yes, y'all might at Passover, things like that. There should be cymbals, there should be psalteries, there should be harps, there should be music and everything as we set up the prayers. Y'all think it's supposed to be some dry Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh? No, it's supposed to be instruments behind that. That's what it's supposed to be, but y'all not ready for that. Y'all not ready for that, but that's what it's supposed to be. That's what it was. Shema, Yashar, Allah, it's supposed to be instruments behind that. But we're not ready for that conversation. I know we came out of church. I know we're trying to get away from that stuff, but that's what it's supposed to be.
Bring it back. Yeah, bring it back. So like your brothers who play bass and guitars and drums and all that, bring it back. Why not, priest?
And some of y'all that have these talents should come forward, because that's how it's supposed to look. Most High ain't glorified in these dry prayers that we be setting up. Y'all think the Most High is magnified in these dry prayers that we set up? Absolutely not. I just gotta keep it real. I wouldn't be. These prayers be dry as hell. I'm keeping it real. 2 Chronicles 2, verse 29, verse 25, it says, and he shall set the Levites in the house of the Lord with cymbals and psalteries and with harps, according to the commandment of David, and of Gad the king's seer, and Nathan the prophet, for so was the commandment of the Lord by his prophets. Verse 26, and the Levites stood with the instruments of David, and the priests and the trumpets. And Hezekiah commanded to offer the burnt offering upon the altar. And when the burnt offering began, the sons of the Lord, the song of the Lord, began also with the trumpet. So as they were sacrificing, they were playing instruments and they were singing. And with the instruments by David, king of Israel, ordained by David, king of Israel. Verse 28. And all the congregation worshiped, and the singers sang. As this was going on, as these guys were doing the burnt offering and all the stuff, people were singing. The congregation was worshiping. It was a joyous thing. It wasn't the dry thing that we do every Passover. And I'm not talking about just our Passover. I see the Passovers everybody does. They're all dry. That's what it is. Let's be real. We'll get it back. We'll get it back in the kingdom. I get it. We'll get it back in the kingdom. We're not ready for this. And all the congregation worshiped, and the singers sang, and the trumpeters sounded, and all this continued until the burnt offering was finished. So picture that. Picture the Levite priests making a sacrifice, and as they're sacrificing, all the people are worshiping. Instruments are going off, the trumpets are going off, the lyres are going off, the cymbals are going off. People are singing. Can you imagine that? We as Israelites have not come to this level yet. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. This is what the churches be doing when they be doing their quote unquote praise and worship, but it's wrong because they're doing the wrong. They're talking about the wrong stuff. They got the right idea, but they're talking about the wrong stuff. I don't think Israelites are ready for that conversation yet. So we're just going to go ahead and go to the next slide. All right, this is Psalms 137, verse 5. It says, if I forget thee, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget her cunning. So how do we keep our people from forgetting the Most High? This is Isaiah 62, verse 7. It's by the teachers putting our people in remembrance of what's written. Isaiah 62, verse 6, it says, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace, day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence, and give him no rest till he establish and he made Jerusalem a praise in the earth. So it's up to the men that are teachers to do that. I kind of want to go back because I want to give some props out real quick. I went to he might be listening, he might not be listening. Shout out to my brother Mal Halab. And his brother Aaron and the other brothers that were with him. So I want to say maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, and Roe was there. He came too as well. We went to Feast of First Fruits in Atlanta with a particular camp, which I'm not going to say, but I'm just telling y'all the story. And they had a live band there. Mal Halab was on the drums. Somebody was on the organ. You had guitar players there. You had all that stuff during the service. It was amazing. And what's sad is that this is a younger camp. The older camps don't even do it. This is a younger camp. And they did that. And it was amazing to see the live instruments there and playing during the service and all that. It was amazing. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? So it does happen in Israel. I wanted to say that. I don't want to make it seem as though it doesn't happen nowhere. It did happen at that one, but it doesn't happen generally speaking. Right.
Well, you never know. Maybe the Spirit could reach out, right? The Lord put the Spirit on you to put this class together. Maybe the Spirit reach out to other people, other congregations, or maybe our own congregation for Passover. We'll have a live band and we'll just play. You know what I mean? We'll have brothers, singers and players of instrument, like it says in the Book of Psalms. Right? See my good brother Roe in here. You know, if it be the Lord will, yeah, we'll have a celebration to the Lord. Right? Like you said, priest, we can't be dry with it. We gotta look. We get super fly. We get this and that for worldly stuff, right? Why not do it for the Lord? Why not? If it be His will, I'll side. That's right, King.
And we have sisters in this camp that can sing, more than one, more than two. There's a lot of sisters in this camp that can sing. You have brothers in this camp that can sing, right? These are the things that you're not supposed to be waiting for me and Sahab to come and tell y'all, hey, you know, I'm going over the scripture now. I'm showing you, brothers, what God said. What God said we're supposed to do when we worship Him. Y'all can put an idea together and come bring it to Sahab. Hey, we need this amount of time at Passover. We're gonna sing. We're gonna do this, whatever. Or we're gonna whatever. You come to us. You let us know what it is. We'll work it out. We don't have to come looking for you. Come looking for us. That's the idea. It's in the scriptures. It's supposed to happen. God gave you that gift not for you to sit on your hands and do nothing with it, but to do something with it. You see what I'm saying? We're already orchestrating and doing a million other things. We don't have to come chase you down. I know those of y'all that have talents that y'all don't use it. I do know. So anyway, we're gonna leave that right there. Let's continue. And you guys that can play instruments as well. There's probably people that can play the organ, people that can play guitars, all that stuff around, and you just don't say nothing. Well, you need to say something. Verse 6, Psalms 137, verse 6. It says, if I do not remember thee, let my tongue cleave to the roof of my mouth. If I do not prefer Jerusalem above my chief joy. So there's nothing wrong with preferring our people, our nation, and our land above everybody else. Every other nation prefers theirs. What's wrong with that? Ezekiel 3, verse 23. Then I arose and went forth into the plain, and behold, the glory of the Lord stood there, as the glory which I saw by the river Chebar, and I fell on my face. Verse 24. Then the Spirit entered into me and set me upon my feet, and spake with me and said unto me, go, shut thyself within thine house. But thou, O son of man, behold, they shall put bands upon thee, and shall bind thee with them, and thou shalt not go out among them. And I will make thy tongue to cleave to the roof of thy mouth, that thou shalt be dumb, and thou shalt not be to them a reprover, for they are a rebellious house. So you guys could get the sense of what's going on. The Israelites were wicked, and they didn't want to listen to what Ezekiel had to say. So when the time came where Ezekiel could have reproved them, the Most High said, you know what? I'm going to make your tongue cleave to the top of your mouth, where you're not going to be able to tell them nothing. Don't even reprove them. Don't say nothing. And the judgment is going to come down upon them. It's the same idea here in Psalms 137. Since our people have forgotten the Most High, and sometimes it's willfully, the Most High calls for a certain amount of time for the prophecy not to go forth, where a lot of our people did not know, several generations did not know this truth. But we're in the end now. So the Most High is now allowing this word to actually go out and for us to reprove our people in hopes of the elect repenting and coming into this truth. Let's move on. For the sake of time. This is Psalms chapter 137, verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation. That word raise, R-A-S-E, means to destroy. Like when you see a building they put the explosives inside and the building comes down and it implodes upon itself. That's what it means to raise it. The way the World Trade Center came down, that's what it means to raise it. So you had the Edomites cheering when the Babylonians came to siege our land and take us as captives. They were happy about it. And they were cheering the Babylonians on. Raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, because these same Edomites that were cheering the Babylonians on, in future generations, these same Edomites would uphold a lot of the same customs that the Babylonians held. They would literally become Babylon. At the time this is being written, Esau is not Babylon. But spiritually, in the future, the children of Edom would become the new Babylon. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. So the daughter of Babylon is going to be destroyed. Brothers and sisters, if you do history, you guys will realize that Babylon really there was not even a battle when Babylon fell and the Persians came to power. There wasn't even a battle. There wasn't even a battle.
God, they walked into Babylon.
It's walked into Babylon.
Yeah, I saw that.
This is future prophecy, but you have to know these things. This is Isaiah 47, verse 1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground." That's Esau. "There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." There have not been any major wars outside of the Civil War, the Revolutionary War, that have been fought here on this land of Esau. But that's going to change. That's going to change. Let me see something really quickly. I want to see something. I'm on slide 43. Let's see what time it is. I have a little bit of time. So you guys, bear with me 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second. I want to see something. I want to see something real quick.
Yeah, and it's Priest, while you're looking for that, it's funny too, because when you check the history, right? When Babylon fell, it was like a diplomatic thing. When the Persians came, they just took over the whole city, and I don't think it wasn't like they came with battering rams and horses and arrows and all that. Babylon just fell. It just imploded. They just gave up the city without a fight. So when you seen scriptures talking about the fall of Babylon and how it's going to be burned with fire, and that's future prophecy, because ancient Babylon, right? We talking Nebuchadnezzar, we talking that Babylon. It didn't fall by force. The Persians, they just took it. You know what I mean? So that's just something, brothers need to keep in mind also.
Give me 1 second, if you could. I'm just looking for something real quick.
Nah, can't. This Babylon that's gonna fall is gonna be something to see, man. Hey, while Priest is looking for that, speaking about this Babylon, did y'all know that when they went over there, right? And I know it's a little side note, but we'll bring it back. When they went to get that dude Maduro, right? They use weapons that a lot of people are not talking about. They use some real crazy new weapons that nobody's talking about. And the Venezuelans is talking about it like they was using some secret weapons. You know what I mean? So this Babylon, when it falls, is going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy because they think that they are all powerful. Who can make war into the beast, right? That's their thought. Nobody want beef with them. So when this Babylon fall, it's going to be powerful.
All right, I'm going to share my screen real quick. I just want to show you guys something because I hate to say stuff and I don't prove it. So real quick, I'm going to switch PowerPoints just for a second. We're going to go back to where we were because we're working on something, but I want to show you guys something. This is from, let me go ahead and blow it up. This is from worldhistory.org. The Persian conquest and Babylon's decline. Right here is all we need. While the residents of the city were distracted by one of their great religious feast days, talking about the Babylonians, The Persian army waded the river, marched under the walls of Babylon unnoticed. It was claimed the city was taken without a fight. But the Bible says Babylon's going to burn. But Neo-Babylon didn't burn. The city was taken without a fight. Does everybody see that? Okay. I just wanted y'all to see that. Okay. Now we can come back to today's lesson real quick. Boom. Psalms 137, verse 8. O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed. We just saw history records when Babylon fell, it wasn't even a fight. But real quick, I got to come back out. I got to come back out. Real quick, let's come here. Isaiah chapter 13. Real quick. Isaiah 13 and verse 19. You guys can see it. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, and the beauty of the Chaldeans' excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. How did God overthrow Sodom and Gomorrah? Fire and brimstone. Fire and brimstone is how Sodom and Gomorrah, the Bible says that's how Babylon would go down. The problem is that history teaches us Neo-Babylon in the Bible went down without a fight. That's what history teaches us. Therefore, now we have to look and say, well, okay, so this Babylon right here that's going to be destroyed, can't be talking about that one because that one went without a fight. But you know which Babylon is going to be destroyed? The one that Esau presides over. Is everybody saying that? That's what this is saying. So yes, there are portions of this that do apply to ancient Babylon, Neo-Babylon, yes. But really, it's about Esau. This is about the way Esau is getting ready to go down. I just want y'all to understand that. Okay. Now let's bring this into history. And I'm sorry, you guys, for the blurry picture. These are some slides I added towards the end. In the future, I'll use a better slide, but don't worry about the picture. Just worry about what I'm telling you. There's something called the letter to Zedekiah from Arad, or it's called the Arad Astrakhan. Let's get a better picture of that. Let's come back to Google. It's called the Arad Astrakhan. The Arad Astrakhan. Let's go to Google Images so we can see it together. This is called the Arad Astrakhan, right? You guys can see it. This is what they found. Everybody see that? Boom. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint. Let's find out what it is. The Arad Astrakhan is archaeology proving that Esau was threatening Israel at the same time the Babylonians were coming against us. That's what the Bible says. They said, raise it. Even to the foundation. The Edomites were down and complicit with the Babylonians. And they were making it harder for us. They were threatening to attack us as well. And the archaeology has proven it. Esau found it. It's proven it. I just want you guys to see that. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not at the present screen. My bad. Let's present it.
So this is it.
I showed you guys. Go ahead, Sam.
Nah, it's just funny because you're going over ancient artifacts to prove what the scripture's saying, right? That they said raise it, which means burn it down or level it, right? When the Babylonians was coming to take away, I think it was Judah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how we fast forward to 2026, we're supposed to link up with them and all nations could be saved and all, you know what I'm saying? How do we stray so far apart, priest? That's my question, bro. Because I ain't holding hands with no goddamn Edomite. You see what I'm saying? I'm not doing it. I don't care what no congregation say, talk about the nations could get saved. I'm not doing it. I'm not holding hands. I'm not doing nothing with them. They killed our people, bro. You know what I mean? Lest we forget.
Yeah. So, and I'm showing you, I'm doing a lot. This is normally What you guys are getting today is what people in the academy get. This lesson today is what I do with my guys in the academy. But I just feel like, I'm going to show y'all some stuff, so because I need all of y'all to understand this is the truth. What y'all are in is the truth. Like, let's just keep it real. This is the truth, man. This is the truth. And we can demonstrate, because what we say, demonstration beats conversation. We could demonstrate what we teach. So this is what Esau did. Esau was threatening King Zedekiah. They have the archaeology in the Arad Ostracons. At the same time, the Babylonians were doing the same. So this thing that they found, this archaeology that they found, matches the Bible. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. Edom is Babylon. Edom is Babylon. The Arad Ostragon is one way that proves it. And there are others as well. The prophet Obadiah speaks about the Edomites capturing refugees, supported by the sudden appearance of Edomite settlements in Negev right after. So history backs up what the Bible teaches us. It's not that hard. This is Micah chapter 4, verse 10. It says, "Be in pain and bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail, for thou shalt go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. There shalt thou be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem thee from the hands of thy enemies." Question: did this happen in Neo-Babylon? No. So what Babylon are we going to be redeemed from? This one. We're going to be redeemed from the daughter of Babylon, not Babylon itself, but the daughter of Babylon is where we're going to be redeemed from. Because the Babylonian empire was simply absorbed by the Persian Empire. It went from one empire to another. That's why when the Persians came into power, they gave us permission to go back and build a temple. They had the power to do that. We weren't redeemed from Babylon. No. When the Persians came into power, they didn't have to let us go back and build a temple because we were not redeemed. We were not saved from Babylon. No. When the Persians came into power, we just simply, it's like being sold, like we went over earlier. It's like being sold from one slave master to another. That's what that was. So those prophecies are not talking about ancient Babylon. It's talking about this one. That's the idea. And there's literally a book called The Two Babylons. If I'm not mistaken, so we have this on our website. I'll go check before the class is over. We have this on our website. This is a great book by Alexander Hislop, and it makes the comparisons between customs, traditions, holidays, etc., that were worshipped in ancient Babylon, and how America keeps the same thing because they are the daughter of Babylon.
Khan, I believe it's on the website, please.
And then you have the theology of the river. From the Kabar River that Ezekiel was by to the Mississippi River in America, right? You have the same thing. Lament. Site of lament, right? Spirituals were being sung by the rivers here in America. In Babylon, we did the same thing. It was a site of prayer. In Babylon, it's a site of prayer. Hush Harbor, riverbanks, etc., became secret spots for baptism and forbidden religious meetings. It's history repeating itself all over again. It's two rivers, but it's the same spirit. This is Obadiah. It only has one chapter. So Obadiah verses 10 through 12, "For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever." And we see this now in archaeology in the Arad Ostracon. They were planning on going to war against us as well, at the same time the Babylonians were. "And the day that thou stoodest on the other side, and the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou wast as one of them." They enjoyed that. but thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother and the day he became a stranger. Wait a minute, I thought Israelites couldn't be strangers. Hold on a second now. What is this? In the day he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of their distress. Verse 8, Psalms 137, verse 8. Daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast rewarded us. So we're going to be happy when this happens to these other nations. I know some brothers now, in this modern Israelite, movement, this modern environment of Israelites right now, some brothers, are no longer looking for Esau's destruction, but, those of us that are in our right mind, we still are. Esau has to pay. He has to pay. Let's come back to Isaiah chapter 13, just to go a little further. And we're almost done, guys. We're almost at the end of the class. This is Isaiah chapter 13, concerning the burden of Babylon. Jumping down to verse 19, read it. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldeans, excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And we know Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed through fire and brimstone. Verse 20, it shall never be inhabited. I'm going to read it again. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch their tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and the houses shall be full of doleful creatures. Owls shall dwell there, satyrs shall dance there, and the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant places. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. And as we already proved, this didn't happen to ancient Babylon. All right, now let's look at Isaiah 29, verses 15 through 16. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. God is the potter, and we're the clay. God is the potter, and we're the clay. So things being turned upside down is Esau being in power and us being on the bottom. And the same way that we're on the bottom and they're on the top, they've lied about everything from history down to the Bible, down to archaeology, down to everything. Those things are going to be turned right side up. Right now, they're upside down, but they're going to be turned right side up because God is the potter and he can do that. They have their time to rule, and when their time to rule is done, things are going to be set back in order. So God is the potter. We are the clay. Romans 9, verses 20 to 23. It says, nay, but, O man, who art thou that repliest against God? Shall the thing formed, that's man, say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Hath not the potter power over the clay? Of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor. What's the vessel unto honor? That's Jacob. And another unto dishonor. That's Esau. What if God, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endured with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction? The Most High is allowing Esau to rule and be wicked. He's allowing that to happen for a time. Verse 23, that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy. That's Jacob. That's Israel, which he had afore prepared unto glory, because all these promises were promised to our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And although Esau is in power right now, and it seems like he has a firm grip on power, in fact, if you're spiritual, you realize that he don't, because he created a system that within a system, a kingdom can be raised up right while he's watching it because of democracy. And we could raise our people up, the princes, the leaders. the teachers, the governors, whomever, are all being raised up. Esau is watching it and has to allow it. And by the time he's getting ready to come against it, it's going to be so far gone, there's nothing he can do about it. Nothing. There's so many people that have woken up, there's nothing he can do about it. All praise to the Most High for that. Let's move on. Isaiah 29, verse 15 through 16. Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who shall see us? Surely their turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. Let's watch this video real quick. I want you guys to know that this is from a movie called The White Man's Burden. This movie came out in 1995. Some of you guys are too young. Maybe you weren't even born then. But Esau made a movie. I need you guys to really think about this spiritually. Esau made a movie where he reversed it, and we were on top and he was on the bottom. It's supposed to be satire. It's supposed to be funny, but in actuality, this is exactly how it's going to go. Their turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, because Israel is going to be on top and they're going to be on the bottom for real. Yes, this is satire, but that's exactly what's going to happen.
There's something inherently wrong when the people repeatedly burn out their community.
They've made a great deal of progress. I mean, look at their successes. What about their artists?
Now, I know you guys are just hearing the voices, but I want you guys to really listen to what's being said. All the things that you guys hear being said when the flag is waving are things that they say about us. But as you guys are going to see in a movie preview, they're actually going to be talking about white people, because this movie turned everything upside down. Got it? Okay.
There's something inherently wrong when the people repeatedly burn out their community.
They've made a great deal of progress. I mean, look at their successes. What about their artists? Their music?
I love their music too, okay? I just say, let them sing, let them dance. Just let them not be so damn violent.
White people are genetically inferior.
Imagine a world where everything is different.
Why would you like the white one?
I don't want that one.
There must have been 50 little white kids all running around. It was so adorable.
But nothing has changed.
Next time you have something delivered here to the house, could you send someone other than the fellow you sent by today?
You found me? I don't think things are going to work out.
I promise you, it's going to be better.
I just lost my job at the factory, and I need to talk to him.
I don't get involved in these matters.
From the producer of Pulp Fiction.
I got your money. I told you I got your money. You've been bugging my wife all week. We ain't living here right now. I can't even make it.
1995's most provocative film.
What's going on? Put your hands up. What did I do? Leave him alone.
John Travolta.
I come to your house. You ain't got no time for me. Now I got a gun. You got all the time in the world.
Harry Belafonte.
Lots of people lose their jobs. Toughen up. Get another one. Their wife, kids, got a lot to lose.
You're crazy, man.
I think I can let you go, Dad.
Show no respect. Leave him alone. Try and get out.
You and everybody else in the whole world but yourself.
Somebody come to me.
White Man's Burden.
So, brothers and sisters, that's supposed to be satire, right? The white man is now resisting against the blacks who are in control and oppressing them. It's supposed to be satire, but just understand this is Hollywood. There's always a message underlying the satire, underlying the movies. They understand exactly what they were doing. By the way, for anybody interested, the movie is actually, the entire movie is on YouTube for free. It's called The White Man's Burden. Let me just show y'all real quick. So y'all, if anybody wants to watch it, y'all can watch it. Hold on, let me just because I know some of y'all are really young, so y'all didn't even know that movie existed. Yeah. Planet of the Apes, we believe is kind of the same thing in a way. But
Yeah, some French dude wrote.
Here it is right here, guys. So I want to let you say something right now. Here it is on YouTube. You guys can see it's the entire movie. It's called White Man's Burden. John Travolta and Harry Belafonte. All the roles were reversed, whatever. And when it came out, it was very controversial. Go ahead, Zob, you got it.
No, I was saying the original writer for Planet of the Apes was some French dude. I forgot his name, but he said he wrote it in the 60s, around the time when, you know, in America they had the Black Revolution and Panthers, and that revolutionary spirit was riling up in America, right? And he thought that it was spreading worldwide, and that's what gave him the inspiration to write it, to say, you know, what will the world be, right, if black people was ruling? Hence, Planet of the Apes, right? So, yeah, that was crazy.
I heard something like that about Stan Lee too. Stan Lee's the guy that created a lot of y'all superheroes in Marvel. I heard that something like he was kind of influenced by the. Okay, so if you know about it, you can bring it up.
Yeah, he was saying he was influenced by the revolutionary movement also, and some of his characters he wrote were supposed to be fighting oppression. And again, I don't know, Priest. I don't have proof to back it up. You know what I mean? But that's what they said. A lot of these Hollywood types, they're like leftists, so to speak, right? So they kind of have a sympathetic ear to our plight. You know what I mean? Even though they exploit us too. So it could be, he said, I forgot which one of his characters was based off a revolutionary, but I guess the powers that be, they didn't want that. So he had to switch it and make them white. He did do Black Panther though. He did come up with Black Panther, which was, you know, they let that one slide under the radar, and look what happened to that. Right. But yeah.
So if I remember correctly, now I might be wrong. Y'all could go and do your research. I know the X-Men, because the mutants is supposed to be like us, like the people that are outcast in society, whatever. That was one of them, and I know there were others too. Whatever. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, he said Magneto and Professor X was supposed to be Malcolm and MLK.
Yeah. Right. Okay. This is Jeremiah 16 through 19. Guys, we're almost done, family. We're almost done. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after I will send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rock. So I've shown this before. This is from a movie called Planet of the Apes. It's called, there were several different, not the new ones, guys, not the new ones that came out in the 90s and the 2000s. I'm talking about the ones that came out in the 70s. This is from a movie called Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Beneath the Planet of the Apes, right? This is after America is destroyed. This is after they see the Statue of Liberty destroyed. If you've never seen that scene with Charlton Heston and the Statue of Liberty, let's look at that real quick. You know what? I don't know if YouTube will play it. So you know what? I'm not going to do that. I ain't going to risk it. I'm just going to play this. But this is after America is destroyed. You have a lot of the Edomites that survived America being destroyed, and they're living in these underground bunkers. You know what I'm saying? So check this out.
Planet where apes evolved from men. It's got to be an answer. Don't look for it, Taylor. You may not like what you find.
So boom, there's the Statue of Liberty. It's destroyed. So this is post Babylon being destroyed. Look.
Damn you, all the hell!
And for those of y'all that don't know, let's go back a little bit. For those of y'all that don't know, this is your Moses from your Ten Commandments, Charlton Heston. This is the same guy that played Moses in the Ten Commandments, if you didn't know already.
I think it was racist too. He was racist as hell too, bro.
Yeah. You stupid apes! He wanted to say you stupid niggas because this is really based on us.
Don't look for it, Taylor. You may not like what you find. Damn you, all the hell!
So now they're going underground. Beneath the Planet of the Apes, this is the Forbidden Zone. This is the rocks.
The year 3955. Charlton Heston as Taylor, a 20th century astronaut, space wrecked in the incredible future. Linda Harrison as Nova, a savage beauty from the enslaved and boisterous human race.
Brothers and sisters, the white people are in slavery, y'all. The white folks are in slavery, and the apes is you. You just don't hear. Anyway.
James Francisco as astronaut Brent on a reckless mission to rescue Taylor, trapped by the swaggering, brutal master race of apes who dominate the earth.
Y'all the apes.
Planet shattered by the atomic war of a
And these are the people, these are them hiding under the rocks, underground. That's the subway system in New York.
Where are you going? Into the forbidden zone. Someone knows something has outwitted the intelligence of the gorillas. Invade! Invade! Face the terrifying dangers of the forbidden zone with them. Engulfing you in the shattering experiences that await beneath the planet of the apes.
Well, there's an intelligence working in this place and over here.
We are determined to know what
there it is.
Each one, war or peace. The super intelligent mutant. Are they human or something
So these are Edomites that are living. It's of course, guys, this is Hollywood, it's a movie, so it's satire to a degree, but you have what they're showing you is that there are people that are living underground in these underground fallout shelters after America is destroyed. This is what the Bible's teaching you. It's the same thing. This is the same thing. This is Psalms chapter 137, verse 8 and 9. It says, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. I think that's self-explanatory. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth one of thy little ones against a stone. That's the same thing that Isaiah spoke about their little ones. Let's read it. Isaiah 13, verses 14 through 16. And it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people and flee into his own land. Every one that is found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. We just read, brothers and sisters, I'm going to bring it right back. I know classes, I'm way over the time. I got to bring it right back. When Babylon fell, there's no violence. None. There's no violence. So, therefore, we have some questions to ask. Isaiah 13 is talking about the fall of Babylon and their children being dashed to pieces before their eyes. This is talking about something else. This is talking about this. When this Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, Esau, when they are destroyed. That's what it's talking about.
Priest, could you read verse 15? There's a little piece of it that's a nugget right there. Verse 15 again.
It says, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword.
So if you want to be joined unto them, you know what that means? You want to be with them. You want to be an ally to them. You want to be a part of them. You want to graft them in. You want to say, no, salvation is for them too. Everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Look, man, we got enough problems. I ain't trying to join with Babylon.
At all.
At all.
What happens after Isaiah 13? After Babylon is destroyed, their children are dashed to pieces. Babylon is burned like Sodom and Gomorrah. That's when we get our kingdom. That's when we get our kingdom. Isaiah 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place. And the house of Israel shall possess them. You don't read about the Babylonians being possessed by Israel after Neo-Babylon fell? And the house of Israel shall possess them for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, because we were captives in Neo-Babylon, whose captives they were. Did the Israelites in Neo-Babylon take the Babylonians captives after they left? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And they shall take them captive who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So this is a foreshadowing, a typology of something greater than what happened in Neo-Babylon. That's why I showed you guys what I showed you guys. Psalms 137 is absolutely pointing towards where we are now and what's about to happen in the future. Verse 3, and this shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from thy hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve. So all praise to the Most High Yahweh. I know I went way over my class. All praise to the Most High for that. I'm going to stop sharing. Hopefully you brothers and sisters were edified. If y'all were edified, let me know. Put one in the chat. I know that was a lot. All praise to the Most High for that, though. Elazar, the floor is yours if you want to say anything.
Excellent class, priest. All praises to the Most High. Barakatah Yahweh, Bashama Mashiach Shai. Yeah, what's said is said, man. There's nothing to add to that. You know, what's said is said, and we just looking forward for that time. In the meantime, we got to endure, right? And we got to stay wrapped up in these scriptures, right? We got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and don't get caught up. That's all.
Okay, all praises. So we're about to end this shortly, guys. We just have to make the announcements real quick. So what I'm gonna do, first of all, let me bring it up. I'm gonna share my screen, and it's related to today's class. So give me 1 second. Okay, so let me share my screen real quick so you guys see. Boom. Okay. So guys, this is our website, thelionsofisrael.com. Thelionsofisrael.com. First, I'm gonna come to books, right? So as we tell you guys, and I have many more I need to add here, but we do have a lot of books here ready. So you guys saw me going into books today, right? And you guys can come here and you guys could download some of these books as well, because what you want to do is you want to teach your people and show them that, you know, where you're getting the information from. Like, don't just talk about it, but actually show them. Demonstration beats conversation. So I have them here. I don't see the two Babylons up here. So what I will do is I will email you that and we can put it up here.
Con. Yeah, it'll be up there by the end of the day.
All praise to the Most High. All right. Also, well, let me do this real quick. Let me do this real quick, guys. Bear with me for a second. Okay. So also on our website, since we're here, you come to the tab that says more. You have the calendar there. The calendar we have here for you brothers and sisters to follow the holy days, right? So you guys can actually just toggle from month to month, right? So yeah, you go to the next month, right? You have January now. You go to February, you go to March, and all the holy days are right there. So we're in January right now. You guys can see we have the Shabbats there. We have the new moon here, so forth and so on. Let's say I wanted to go to February. I would do that. Boom. February come out. Okay. Hold on 1 second. February's here. You guys can see the Sabbaths are there, right? You see the destruction of Nicanor right here. Okay, let's go to the next one. Right? You have the Feast of Unleavened Bread or Passover here, April 1st. So just come to the website if you're not sure about the calendar. Follow the calendar, and that way you could ask for the days off for your, from your jobs if you have to take the day off, whatever. I'm looking forward to seeing some of y'all at Passover, man, for sure. Also, I wanted to come here to where it says donations. We appreciate, as Zahab said earlier, all the brothers and sisters that have donated to us. And there's a multiplicity of ways. You could do it through PayPal. You could do it through Zelle. You could do it through Venmo. You could do it through Cash App. You could do it through Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? And I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second. Oops. You also can do it, if you guys are looking, There's a QR code in the upper left-hand corner right there. You can do it through that as well. So we appreciate brothers and sisters that have donated to the camp. We definitely appreciate that. We love y'all for that. And that's another way that you guys can donate to the camp.
Real quick, also, if there's a book that when you go to our website and you see and you look through the books, if there's a book that's missing and you'd like us to add it, reach out to us. All right. And I'll reach out to Priest, see if we could get that book loaded up as well.
All right. So Passover, brothers and sisters, Passover is April the 1st, right? Passover is April the 1st. So we need for y'all to email right now. Going across the bottom of the screen is the email, loigatherings@gmail.com. If you guys plan on attending Passover, please email us at loigatherings@gmail.com, and we'll give you further instructions from that. It's April 1st, 2026 in Newark, New Jersey. As far as the academy is concerned, week 1 was a success. So shout out to the LOI Future Leaders Academy, brothers and sisters at the academy. I appreciate y'all. Week 1 was a success. Week 2 class will be loaded very early tomorrow morning, so you guys go ahead and check it out. I'm also very happy that y'all took the test, and a lot of y'all were passing the test. That means that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Now, tomorrow's class in the academy is really, really deep. It's a lot going on. I'm not going to lie to you. So I want you brothers and sisters to take your time. Maybe you might have to watch the lesson more than once. And I want you guys to pass the test the same way y'all did with week number 1. If you guys are able to do really good with week number 2, I think that, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to be very happy to see that. All right. For those of y'all that missed it, y'all missing out. That's all I can tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. It is what it is. All right. Yeah. And I think that's it for me. And guys in the academy, the class will be loaded in the academy tomorrow pretty early. Once I speak to administration and I get the green light, I'm going to load the class tomorrow morning early so y'all can watch the class, take the test, and do y'all best. All right. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I missed anything else. So we appreciate you.
Salakia, remember to watch our classes. Sabbath class Friday with Detroit, Thursday, Colorado, Wednesday with myself. Yeah. We have other classes throughout the week. And yeah, just to remind y'all.
So if you guys are on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, because as Elder Zahab said, we go live Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I know y'all be here Saturday, but we're live Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if you hit the notification bell when these brothers are going live, you guys will see it, and then y'all be able to hop right in and be edified. All praise to the Most High. We appreciate, we love all you brothers and sisters. We thank y'all for supporting us every week and being here in our classes, and I pray that the classes are edifying. It's your brother Priest Danyaahla, representing Lines of Israel, Maccabeestv, along with El Sahab, and we will see you guys again next week, if it be Yahweh's will. With that, I say shalom. The curfew, the troops, the world's on quarantine. The social, the 6 degrees of separation. The troubles of Jacob, the need for preparation. My vision is focused, I won't speed a rush. And if there's hate in your blood, then you need a flush. Yes, the priest is back, the most high be praised. I'm making them sick, this song is 5G waves. As real as they come, won't find no fugazi. A man amongst men, so Gail and Oprah hate me. And Jesus had warrants. Paul wrote letters to Corinth. And Esau is red, and Donald Trump is orange. The faces, the gestures, that cat is so comedic. Corona, the virus, the plagues is sent on Egypt. We were slaves, led away to other gods. I ain't preaching shy, I'm killing them with current laws.
Father in the sky, I shed tears, I don't know why. But I'm a child of the Most High, so they can't break me if they try. Father in the sky, I shed tears, I don't know why. But I'm a child of the Most High, so they can't break me if they try.
The riches, the fame, is it all for Skrilla? The mask and the gloves so COVID doesn't kill you. The panic, the fear, the news is so fallacious. The Isley, the brothers, they say it's so contagious. The doctors, the nurses, the need for ventilators. The 1,200 cash they gave to stimulators. The signs and the warnings, don't forget the scriptures. Prevention and cure funded by special interests. Still in the streets, surely. Some say that he's worldly. Flow is sick like why Tekashi got released early. The judges, the lawyers, they say there's no defense. Season 8 Game of Thrones, cause it don't make no sense. And that's the rundown, TV is saturated. The fear is the push to get us vaccinated. We were slaves, led away to other gods. I ain't preaching shy, I'm killing them with current laws.
Father in the sky, I shed tears, I don't know why. But I'm a child of the Most High, so they can't break me if they try. Father in the sky,
like I said,
I shed tears, I don't know why. But I'm a child of the Most High, so they can't break